Why don't you just go help, like, cook dinner with my mom? She needs help.
You're trying to be controlling, but you're very, very disrespectful.
I'm seriously about to come over there. I am super shocked right now. The Kobe in China would never talk to me like this.
Last week, I was praising Kobe for being a gentleman. From the looks of it, Kobe has such a gentle heart, which I won't take that away from him. He's definitely shown some gentle qualities. But this week, he picked a fight with Emily over pumping breast milk that had me thinking,
Pause.
Hold up. It was so unnecessary.
You see, your father is right here. I don't think that's appropriate for you to be pumping in front of your dad.
And it was in front of her parents.
I was ready to jump in if I had to.
We're gonna talk about it. Plus,
I was dreaming that day I will be having breakfast in bed.
Eve heads off to work and Mohamed gets upset that she doesn't make him breakfast in bed. He wants her to behave like his mama. And he is as serious can get.
Eve made me frustrated because I expected her to cook for me because my mom, she usually cooks for me.
Call his mother.
Hey 90 Day Fans fam, it's Melicia. You know, it's an interesting situation I'm in doing these recaps because I'm watching the show with you as a viewer. So from week to week, depending on what happens, my opinion changes or shifts when it comes to the people we're talking about. And because I'm basically shouting my opinion to the world, full transparency, it can feel a little awkward when I find myself praising someone one week and then the next week I'm looking at them sideways. But I guess that's life. With new information, your opinion changes. And also, 90 Day cast members are humans, and as humans, we're multi-dimensional.
Look, don't put me in a box, all right?
All right, let's get into Emily and Kobe. By the way, look at how adorable this picture is. Kobe and Coben in matching outfits.
Earlier today, Kobe finally met her son for the first time. So it's been a very long, very emotional day for everyone.
At the top of the episode, it's Kobe's first day in the house with Emily's parents. And after all the excitement, Coben finally lays down for a nap. So Emily decides to pump her breast milk in the living room while her mom is cooking dinner. And Kobe thinks it's so inappropriate.
Babe, is this really happening?
What, me pumping right here in the living room?
This is not normal. You can't be doing this like in front of your parents as well.
I've done it for my parents for 17 months.
The fact that your parents let you do it doesn't mean it's right.
Keep in mind that the entire time this conversation is going on, Emily's parents are listening. But that doesn't seem to faze Kobe.
Why can't you do that in the basement?
Because I don't need to go to the basement to pump. Everyone in my family knows how hard my breastfeeding journey was. It was super difficult for me. So the fact that I'm able to produce milk now when I wasn't in the beginning is something I'm really proud of, and I'm not ashamed to do it in front of my family. I'm not gonna go downstairs. In Africa, do women go to the room to feed them?
They do.
Ooh, that stopped Emily's dad in his tracks.
You see, your father is right here. I don't think that's appropriate for you to be pumping in front of your dad.
What do y'all think about Kobe's argument? Do you think he has a point? And remember, this isn't about breastfeeding or pumping in public. This is about doing it at home, around the people you live with. Personally, in regards to this situation, I think if Emily is comfortable, that's all that matters. I know this is something that every woman wouldn't be comfortable with, but if she is, what's the problem? For most adults, once you see a boob and the initial shock of, oh, that's a boob, goes away, it just becomes what they are.
Breast.
And if that's not the case for you, it's time to grow up. Also, I'm not a doctor.
Clearly.
But I'm 99.9% sure that the primary biological function of breast are to produce milk to feed a baby, not for sexual satisfaction. And speaking of sexual satisfaction, I would hope that Kobe is the only one in that house sexualizing her boobs. So, I don't see what he has to be worried about. I think this is a matter of accepting and respecting the fact that they come from two different backgrounds.
In Africa, women will be a little more discreet.
According to Kobe, this is not something they do in Africa, which my Africans out there, I would love to hear your take on that. Kobe also reveals in this episode that his dad didn't come into his life until he was 14. But when it comes to Emily, she's had a totally different experience.
You see, your father is right here. I don't think that's appropriate for you to be pumping in front of your dad.
her father still views her as his little girl.
She's my little girl.
And they are close enough for her to bring a random dude from Africa into their home, and he offered to take care of him for 6 months. So while Emily breastfeeding and pumping in front of her dad might be taboo for Kobe because of where he comes from and how he views the father,
I wasn't brought up like that.
it's not taboo for her, which in my opinion, that should be acknowledged and once again, respected.
They're just standing there.
I don't want to get in the middle of a first discussion here.
Oh my God.
Discussion about my boo.
Kobe apologizes to Emily's dad for arguing in front of him, although he continues to do it.
That's all right. I just,
Oh my God.
we do things a little bit different here. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with this.
Yeah.
So
Kobe then goes on to question why Emily is still breastfeeding the baby in the first place when the baby is almost 2 years old.
My younger sister, she stopped breastfeeding when the son was like 7 months.
And that's normal.
It's normal. Babe, you've been breastfeeding for 17 months.
Yeah.
So how long?
I can't
kept
just
like,
cut
babe,
him
before
off.
coming even, I
Yeah.
told you this, like, listen, I'm coming home. And you need to start thinking on how you're gonna have to like stop him from breastfeeding.
Because he wants that bond that Coben and I have, because it is such a bond.
No, Emily, we know that that is not the real issue here. I don't know if she was trying to save him or what.
On how you're gonna have to like stop him from breastfeeding.
Because he wants that bond that Coben and I have, because it is such a bond, you know? Like,
yeah.
Listen to Kobe.
you know, like,
yeah.
breastfeeding is a big bond, and I understand that, but it's like, I'm not going to take that away just because you're here.
This time around, it shouldn't be like it's only about you and him. It's like us.
Emily's dad goes on to tell Kobe the longer the baby breastfeeds, the better. He then tells the camera what this argument really has him thinking.
I think Kobe was wrong completely. I mean, it's perfectly natural for Emily to want to do what she needs to do to pump the milk, and you know she's still breastfeeding, and that's pretty natural here. I was kind of surprised to hear that it's not that common where he's from. I was ready to jump in if I had to. He was kind of pretty strong-willed, pretty forceful.
And it's disappointing.
Disappointing. That's a good way to describe it. When I introduced Kobe and Emily a few weeks ago, Joshua Mo said, quote, "I'm just gonna say now that if Kobe goes to America, he and Emily's dad are going to butt heads." You might be onto something.
I'm sorry to say this, but we are talking about my son, okay?
Our son.
Our son. Yeah.
Seems to be doing pretty good.
Emily's dad is on standby for real.
Seems to be doing pretty good.
Finally, Kobe admits to the camera the root of the problem he has with her breastfeeding and pumping. And it has nothing to do with her parents being around or the baby's age.
She's gonna be my wife, and we make love, you know, and I have to suck her breast.
Wait a minute, Kobe. Let's be clear. You want to. You don't have to. If anybody has to, it's the baby.
Because I love breasts, to be honest, all right? So I can't be sharing breasts with my son, you know what I mean? So I don't want to sound being selfish over here, but that's just the truth.
Well, Kobe, like father, like son. You love them and so does your kid. Can you really be mad? It's going to be interesting to see how they work through this. I'm sure a lot of couples have dealt with a similar issue.
I can't be sharing breasts with my son, you know what I mean?
Overall, I think the moral of the story, for me at least, is to be mindful of how and where you express your opinion to your partner. You're coming from different experiences, different backgrounds. And if you think something is unusual, it's okay to express that. But how you express it and when you express it is key. That's if you really want a resolution.
Let's not play games here.
I can't be fighting with you when people are around.
We're having this first fight about the breastfeeding and the pumping. It was kind of awkward that it, got brought up today and in front of my parents. Like, I don't like that. Why don't you just go help, cook dinner with my mom?
Listen to me. I don't want you to sound as if, you're trying to be controlling because I'm in America or not. It doesn't really happen this way. You're trying to be very, very disrespectful.
Seriously about to come over there and just lose
All right.
my on you.
I just can't get over the fact that Kobe is saying all of this in front of her parents, and it's his first day there.
Let me explain something to you. You can't stand and talk to your future husband like commanding me to go and do something.
After Emily asked him to go cook dinner with her mom in a nicer way,
Arguing
sorry.
on something.
I said go help mom in the kitchen, and I should have said, honey,
yeah.
do you mind helping my mom in the kitchen?
That's it. You see, the approach now is totally different.
now Kobe, let's not talk about approaches.
It will be my pleasure to work with your mom in the kitchen.
All right, thank you.
He goes on to help her mom cook, and Emily reveals she's shocked by his behavior.
The Kobe in China would never talk to me like this.
We barely knew each other.
He was so sweet, so laid back. He was the nicest guy. And now Kobe is like this manly man trying to tell me what to do. I'm a little taken aback.
I was so mad at Emily. She tried to stop the argument, the fighting, by giving me a command, which was very, very rude and disrespectful.
This is what she said.
Why don't you just go help cook dinner with my mom?
I guess it was rude and disrespectful to him.
So, Kobe, what are your expectations of the United States? I mean,
At Kobe's welcome home dinner, he and Emily's father have a frank conversation about his plans in the US. And what Kobe says actually brings her dad to tears.
Maybe with time, I can see what I want to do.
Yeah.
you got to be willing to, get to work and find a good job and provide for your family. They're going to demand a lot of things from you. I don't think Kobe really has a plan. So I'm very concerned. She's my little girl. So I'm really concerned about him being able to provide for her, for him, and especially Kobe.
Later on that night, when it was time for bed,
Oh, man, feels good.
I don't know if you're gonna have enough room.
Emily tells Kobe she thinks it will be best if he sleeps in the other bedroom.
I don't know how he's gonna go to bed with you in this bed. I think it's gonna be hard.
And while she says it's because Coben is distracted and the bed is too small, I think a part of her really just needed a break. It's been a day.
Say goodnight to Coben.
Mwah. Night.
Say night-night, Dada. Say night-night.
Come here. I felt like left out and stuff like that. And I'm not coming to be sleeping alone or sleeping away from my son. I've been away from him from very, very tender age, like when he needed me. And I'm here right now and you're telling me I'm not gonna be able to sleep. That's crazy. She has to give me this chance as a father to play that role in our son's life, which she's not doing.
Ooh, they have a journey in front of them. All right, let's move on to this unique situation between Mohamed and Eve.
My name is Mohamed. I am 25 years old. I'm from Alexandria in Egypt.
Mohamed just moved to America to be with Eve, who is a 48-year-old acupuncturist and massage therapist. Eve also is a single mom and has a son named Theron who has special needs.
I love my son. There's challenges and it's demanding sometimes.
So basically, she needs someone who is serious and who will be a solid rock for her and her son. And from the looks of it, I'm not sure if Mohamed is that guy. He keeps talking about how he wants his wife to be like his mother.
My perfect woman in my imagination is the woman will love me as my mother.
And he means this in a literal sense. Their first issue arises when Eve doesn't get a bidet installed for him before he got to her house. And if you don't know what a bidet is, it's the thing that washes your behind when you go to the bathroom.
So there's one thing that I wanted to get done and I didn't get done, and it's the bidet.
You will get it done.
All right.
It's important to me because I practice Islam, and when you're going to pray 5 times a day, you're gonna be facing God. So you have to be clean 100%. Tissues for us, it's not enough.
First, let me say I respect all religions. I'm just trying to digest Muhammad's logic here. He's willing to break religious rules and live with Eve in her house before they're married, and have sex with her before they're married.
I hope that God will be okay.
But he thinks God is more concerned about his butt being extra clean? Okay, I understand having a bidet of sorts is a huge part of Islamic customs, but if it's that big of a deal to Mohamed,
I don't know why she didn't get this a bidet.
I think it would be wise for him to handle it himself instead of putting the pressure on someone like Eve who doesn't abide by those same rules.
I can't believe you're in my bed.
The second issue pops up during Mohamed's first morning in America. Eve needs to head to work, but Mohamed feels some type of way because he expected for her to cook him breakfast in bed.
I thought you were going to make me breakfast this morning.
I'm sorry, love. I gotta go. I gotta go. Somebody's gotta work.
Don't just get used to do that.
Mohamed goes on to say that he's frustrated with Eve because she needs to take care of his needs like his mom did.
This is not what I was expecting for my future wife. I'm already here one day and I started to miss my mother.
Well, he might need to go back home. Excuse my grammar, but ain't nobody gonna love him like his mother. Wanting Eve to fill his mother's shoes is a lot of pressure to put on her. She already has to financially take care of him, and most importantly, she has the responsibility of her son. Whatever happened to being considerate?
Gotta learn how to cook.
Also, what has me a little concerned, if I'm to be honest, is that Eve has the expectation that Mohamed is going to help watch and take care of her son while she's at work.
Mohamed is very well aware that I've been struggling to find consistent childcare and that is going to be his role to assist me so I can work. I trust Mohamed to be alone with my son versus finding a babysitter. But the reality is, it's not just going to be an afternoon. Sometimes it might be a whole day. So I hope that he can handle that.
But I don't know how that's gonna work when Mohamed wants someone to take care of him.
I like Theron and I don't mind to help Eve, but I am feeling a little bit more a babysitter than being a fiancé.
All right, well, next week, Eve finally gets Mohamed's bidet installed, but they run into another issue.
What's going on in here?
But he's going to install the bidet.
In Islam, that's not right. A man and a woman cannot be alone.
Am I allowed to be in the house if there's a...
No, you're not allowed.
Whew, okay, 90 Day Fans fam. That does it for this week. Make sure you stick with ET because we are covering it all. I will see you next time.